Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Welcome to today's episode of Wednesdays with Pastor K. What a joy it is to be your host for today. Happy Wednesday night. I am so excited to spend the next few minutes with you, and I believe we're going to have a great time. And I just want to check who's watching. I see Patuchezo is watching on Facebook. Welcome, Patuchezo. Good to see you. I see Tsepama Dota is watching. Welcome, son. Good to see you. He's watching on Facebook, and we have Mokhadi Ayanda watching on Facebook as well. Welcome, my daughter. Good to see you. And I see also Tsepang is also logged in on YouTube, and we have Aus Jekwi watching. Welcome, my dear daughter. Good to see you. And welcome to today's episode. We haven't met in 2 weeks. I remember on the 9th, we had a Women's Day conference. My wife was hosting a Women's Day conference, so we could not stream on that Wednesday. And then last week, as we were preparing to stream, I lost my dear aunt who passed on last week Tuesday, and we could not stream again on Wednesday. So yeah, that's why you and I have been apart. But I'm so excited that today we are reunited, and I believe we're gonna have an awesome time. Please do the following for me: like, share, comment, and let's get our world into this room. If there's anyone you feel should join us, especially when I start mentioning the topic, if you feel that somebody should be in here, just call them in so that they can join us, or tag them in the comments so that they can join us as well, or share the feed that people that follow you can also tune in. We also have my son Tabam Langin watching on YouTube. Welcome, son. Good to see you. It's been a while. Yes, son. Miss you too, son. We haven't touched base in a while. I haven't seen you in a while, and but we trust in the Lord that we will hook up soon. And we have Sihle Dlamini watching. Welcome, Sihle. Good to see you. Good to have you on today's stream, and I believe we're gonna have an awesome time. I think the last time we met, you and I, for those of you who are tuning in every single week, the last time we hooked up was on the 2nd of August. Yes, 2nd of August. So, and the last topic we discussed, you and I, was talking about. I think I left okay, it's fine. I got it. So the last time we spoke, I shared on the topic titled "Pursue Growth." Pursue growth. It was a powerful topic, and everybody was encouraged to go and pursue growth in all the aspects of their lives, because that's what we need. We need to pursue growth. Welcome, my dear daughter. Tabisen Labas has just tuned in. Good evening. Good to see you. So yeah, we spoke about pursuing growth, and part of the things that we said, I just want to quickly recap on that topic for a few minutes, and then we dive over into the today's topic. We said that our lives must produce results. Our lives must produce results. That's what we mentioned. On the 2nd of August, we said we have to produce results. If you and I have been called to planet Earth, we have to produce results. You cannot be here and not bear fruit. You have to make sure that your life has impact and that you grow spiritually and intellectually. You must grow in all areas of your life. You have to produce results. If you don't produce results, you are just existing. You've got to start producing results as a child of God, because you're sent here to impact this world for God's glory. Welcome, Tamim Konas. He's watching from YouTube. Welcome, son. Good to see you. And awesome. So we said we spoke about personal growth. We said personal growth, and we said it is not easy, but the benefits will make the journey worthwhile. Meaning that it's never easy to pursue personal growth. It's never easy, but the results will be worthwhile. It is through growth that we are able to access a better of ourselves. Anything that does not grow, it stagnates. That's what we said last time. Anything that does not grow, it stagnates. That is why we all have to grow. We all have to grow, because if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not growing, you are dying. Anything that does not grow, it stagnates. In life, you must have targets to shoot for. In life, you must have targets to shoot for, meaning that you must set targets for your life. I know many people set New Year's resolutions every beginning of the year. They start setting up their resolutions that this is what I want to achieve this year. This is what I want to do this year, and it's like setting a target for you to shoot for. But in life in general, you must always have targets of things that you want to shoot for. And you must set goals for yourself. Develop your skill. That's what we said also last time. You must develop your skill. Each and every one of us carries a skill within them. And that skill comes in a raw form. You must develop it. You must develop it for it to reach its fullness, to reach its full capacity, to perform at a higher level, to perform at a higher rate. You must develop your skill. You must develop it. And personal development is looking inward and focusing on ways to better yourself. It is looking inward and focusing on ways to better yourself. Personal development increases your self-awareness. It increases your self-awareness, your self-esteem, increases your skills, and it fulfills your aspiration. Personal development, it will do all those things for you. And also, personal development is a form of inner work. Personal development is a form of inner work. So when you develop yourself personally, you're dealing with the inner you. So it is a form of inner work. It is the act of looking inward to achieve a purpose or result. It is an act of looking inward to achieve a purpose or result. Yeah, that's where we are. Tabo is also tuned in. Welcome, son. Good to see you. Yeah. Awesome. Keep well, Tabo. We'll chat to you some other time. So today I want us to talk about what we call conflict management. I want us to talk about conflict management. Conflict management. Okay? I see Balungile is watching from Facebook. Welcome, Balungile. Good to see you. Good to see you. So conflict. What is conflict? Conflict is a serious disagreement or argument, typically a protracted one. A protracted one, meaning that's something that has been happening for a very long time. So if a disagreement takes place for a very long time in our lives, you must know that it is protracted. It is protracting, So we have to attend to it because it's taking a very long time. We must get to a place where we are able to resolve issues. We must get to a place where we are able to resolve issues in our lives. And if they are not dealt with, then they become conflict. A conflict can be friction. That season where now nothing seems to be working between us, as friends, or maybe in a relationship, or as colleagues. There's that form of friction, as brothers and sisters, even in churches. The moment we get to that place where we lose that form of unity, and it's like there's a discord amongst us. If we don't deal with that, it becomes friction, and it gets to a place where we call it conflict. And today I want us to talk about conflict management. Conflict management. Many of us are faced with conflicts all the time. Many of us are challenged with conflicts all the time on a daily basis. Some of you face conflicts at work. Some of you face conflicts at school with your peers. Some of you face conflicts in your families and in your friendships, relationships. Conflicts are some things, are something that takes place, everywhere, and it has to do with relationships. The moment we no longer see eye to eye, then that means there's a conflict there, and we have to deal with that conflict. And we also have to manage it. in order to be able to still work together. Because if you don't manage conflict, it gets out of hand, and many things can reach their demise. Um, Conflict is strife. When we fight for a very long time, when we disagree for a very long time, it leads to a place of conflict. It leads to a place of strife. And strife is never good for God's people. It's never good for people in general. The moment there's a strife between us, it means that now we no longer get along. We tend to disagree on everything that we do. We fight, we exchange words that are not good. And you must know that we have reached that place of conflict and of strife. This can take place in relationships. Conflicts can take place in relationships. It can be between family, like I mentioned earlier. It can be between family, friends, colleagues. Everything is fine in relationships until we disagree, until we get into an argument. Conflicts can happen at work. Conflicts can be extremely stressful. You tell me about it. Conflicts can be extremely stressful. We face these things in our day-to-day basis. We face these things even in our families, even in our relatives, even at church. You do face conflicts. There are people you will never see eye to eye with because of disagreements and discord amongst yourselves. Sometimes people can have wrong information about you, and because they have believed that lie, it can last for a very long time. Does anybody understand what I'm talking about? Some people can have a wrong information about you and because they have believed that lie, it can last for a very long time. How many of us know of those kind of relationships or those instances in our lives where somebody has been fighting with you for a very long time, yet they don't really know the truth about the situation. They've heard the lie about you, and they believe that lie, and as a result, you are no longer getting along because they heard that lie about you and they believe that lie. And you know what? Many of us go through that, and that is why we've got to manage conflict, because conflicts can get ugly. They can get ugly. There can be an exchange of words, where you begin to disagree on a higher level, where you are able to even swear at one another. It's not right. It's not right. That is why you've got to manage conflict. And today I'm going to be sharing with you the strategies of how to manage conflict, because there are people that really, there is no way you can resolve the matter. The best thing will be for you to just walk away. Just walk away. There are certain instances where you just have to walk away, because there is nothing that you can say to solve this matter or to resolve that matter, because there are certain people who want to be right all the time. And I always tell people, if everybody is wrong and you are always right, you are the one who's wrong. You are the one who's wrong. You cannot be right all the time. You cannot be right and everybody is wrong all the time. That means that you are the issue. You are the problem. And we've got to learn those things today. So I was saying that somebody might have said something about you to people that are very close to you. And those people will perceive you based on what that particular person said about you. And as a result, those people have what do they call it? Prejudice. Yeah, they now begin to prejudice you because of what they heard. And now they begin to relate to you based on what they heard, only to find out that what they heard is not right, it's not true. It is not true. And as a result, now they've messed up your current relationship because of what they said. That is why I always tell people, if there's a discord between two people, always maybe between yourself and somebody else, or how do I put this? I'm trying to come up with the best way to give you this example. But never believe something about someone when somebody else is telling you about them until you are able to hear the other side of the story. I never take one side of the story. If somebody comes to me and say this and that about that particular person, I go to the next person. I want to hear their side of the story. Or at times, if I have an opportunity, I would call all those people into the same office, and I will say, this one said this. They said you did this. Is it true or is it false? In that way, there is no way you cannot find the truth, because you've got both the people in the room. But we've got this tendency of taking one person's story and we believe it and we run with it. And that is why we end up not getting along with people. Excuse me. We end up not getting along with people, and it's because we never give them an opportunity to speak for themselves and to learn also from them, to learn from them their truth. What I've learned over time is to never go to the enemy's camp when I am invited by the enemy and God is saying nothing. And God is saying nothing. Sometimes certain arguments are just a trap. Certain arguments are just a trap of the enemy. It's the enemy trying to reel you in, into that trap. So I've learned not to go into the platform of the enemy when I'm invited by him and God is saying nothing. Nowadays we live in the era where people fight through social media. People fight through social media. You'll find people, they are not writing statuses on WhatsApp for themselves, but they are writing statuses on WhatsApp for you. So never go onto that platform. Never yield towards that. Never find yourself retaliating via the same platform. Because I'm telling you, when you argue with fools, no one will notice the difference. So if your mission is to push your company on social media, if your mission is to build your organization on social media, if your mission is to build your ministry on social media, just like I do, never allow anybody to sidetrack your focus. Never allow your focus to be lost. Maintain the focus. Remain aligned to your focus. Never allow the enemy to shift you from your focus, because people will say things about you or to you, not even using your name, but obviously when you see whatever they've written on social media, you would realize that this person is talking to you. This particular person is talking to you. Never respond and never retaliate on the same platform. Otherwise, you will lose focus on what you are doing. You must never forget the reason why you are on social media in the first place. You must never forget your core. Never lose focus because somebody is becoming rampant on social media, and don't go to their level. Don't fall to their level, because once you start entertaining them, then you are at their level and people will never notice the difference. You must get to a point where even when people notice that, okay, this person might be talking to you, but they don't see you responding. They get to see that, okay, this one is sensible. This one is focused. This one knows what they're doing. Because we tend to retaliate the same way people attack us, and we lose focus. And that is why we have to be very careful. We have to be very, very careful. Remember to interact with me. Remember to comment. And if there is an instance that you have faced, of conflict between you and a friend, between you and a colleague, between you and a family member, and it's become so dire in such a way that the relationship has become irreparable, I want you to please share it with me in the comments so that we can discuss it. How did you handle it? Or how are you handling that kind of a relationship? Because each and every one of us, we've got people that we don't get along with. We've got people that we don't see eye to eye with. We've got people that we have made peace that, I will never be where this person is because of 1, 2, 3. You've made that decision that in order to choose peace, you must stay away from that particular person. I'm going to ask you to please share it in the comments so that we go through it and discuss it as well. I want to know how best did you handle it, because many of us are faced with these things, on a weekly basis and in our lives. But Jesus says it's only fair to have two sides of the story. Satan can use social media to shift your focus from your primary goal. Absolutely. And yeah, I agree with Refile Clady. Refile Clady says silence is golden. Silence is golden. Yeah. And Tammy says pride is concerned with is being concerned with who is right. Yeah. And humility with what is right. I like that. That's powerful. That's powerful. And Refile says, I literally faced something similar yesterday at work. And how did you deal with it, Refile? How did you deal with it? Because it matters how you respond. It matters how you respond. You have to have the skill and the strategy of how to manage conflict. There are certain people you have to ignore. There are certain people you have to ignore if you want peace and if you want to remain insane. Otherwise, if you entertain these people, I'm telling you, you will find yourself dragged in the mud. You must have a strategic way of how to deal with conflict. Sometimes you disarm the enemy by letting them be. Sometimes, you know what? It's not about winning the argument, but it's about, choosing peace. So the only way I've learned that at times will be a useful tool to disarm the enemy is to let them be. There are certain people you just have to let them be. Just let them be. Because if you're going to entertain them, I'm telling you, you will lose the essence of your being. You will lose the essence of your principles. So there are certain people you just have to let them be. Let them do what they want to do. Let them lash out. Let them vent out, just let them be. And great people don't aim to win battles. Listen to this one. Great people don't aim to win battles. They pursue peace. That's what great people do. They don't aim to win battles. There's a trap in trying to win every battle. Sometimes you might be invited by the enemy for you to fall into that trap. But the best way would be for you to pursue peace. How do you pursue peace? You keep quiet. When you keep quiet, you remain with your peace. You let them vent. Sometimes you have to let people win and have their way. You've got to let them win and have their way. Because life is not about winning arguments. It's not about winning arguments. It's about maintaining your peace. It's about remaining in your place of calmness. You must never allow everybody to drag you into the place of conflict, because conflicts are very stressful. Conflicts are very stressful, and they can sidetrack you, they can distract you, and they can be very destructive in their own nature. Never allow yourself to fall into that trap, because you'll find yourself entertaining people, who are not really going anywhere anyway. So by spending time trying to entertain them, you will lose focus as well. Some conflicts are not worth your time. You've got to understand that. Some conflicts are not worth your time. They are not worth your time. Time is money, people of God. Time is money, and never allow certain conflicts to drag you into the mud. I'm telling you, you'll find yourself running in the mud where dogs play because you entertain dogs. Never allow yourself to go to that level. Always keep your head up and proceed. If you've got goals, start working on your goals and let certain people be. Let them be. My Kaz says, Tsepo Malibani, welcome Kaz, good to see you. He says, I'm currently dealing with the situation. One party shared their side of the story. I was very careful not to share my thoughts until the other party was present. Moving forward, I task another team member with HR skills to resolve, because I might just take sides since I know the first story. Excuse me. Since I know the first story. Sadly, these two are friends. It always happened. It always happens, because we have to use logic. We have to be level-headed to deal with these things, especially when two people who are friends and they are not getting along, they are disagreeing on something. You must have a strategy. Make sure that you have both of them in the room in order to listen to their story. Otherwise, if you listen to one and another one, I'm telling you, you're going to keep going back and forth, because you'll never get the real truth. Everybody will speak on the level where they are defending their own self. And I'm telling you, you will never win. So that is why I refuse to take sides. I have to hear both sides of the story. You must remember, there's your truth, there's his truth, there's God's truth. You must have everybody in the room if you want to solve the problem. Bless you, son. Tabam Langeni says, I love this topic. And yeah, Lerato Mashazi says, make sure to hear both sides of the story. Then you will decide if it is worth your peace. Absolutely. Some conflicts are not worth your time. Learning how to pick your battles is a skill on its own. People of God, you must learn how to pick your battles. There are certain battles that you're not supposed to fight. There are certain people, you just have to let them win. Just let them win. Just let them win. I'm telling you, if you are going to entertain certain fights, I'm telling you, you will never win, and you will drag yourself to the level of the person who's determined and resolute to fight you, or to drag your name in the mud. There are certain fights you just have to let go. Allow the enemy to win. Allow the enemy to claim the victory. Just walk away with your peace, because sometimes you can win the battle but lose your peace. Can I repeat that? Sometimes you can win the battle then lose your peace. I want you to write that in the comments. Sometimes you can win the battle but lose your peace. What good is it? What good is it? Your peace is everything. Your peace is everything. Always fight for peace. It is peace that we need. Good evening, Zanele. Good to see you. Good to see you. Zanele Khoaripe. Which Zanele is this? I'm gonna try and zoom into you and see which Zanele is this. You carry my surname, Zanele. You carry my surname. I need to know which Zanele is this. And yeah, my daughter Mimam Lifa says, when you don't entertain the enemy, he will always come to their senses at the end. Absolutely. That is why you've got to ignore certain enemies at times. Ayanda says, I literally face this almost every day. I literally face this almost every day at school, mostly being spoken bad because I have opened a Bible study in my class. So certain people are against that. Absolutely. You know, you cannot walk with Jesus and expect everybody to agree with you and expect everybody to love you, Ayanda. Every time you choose Jesus, you will face persecution. There are people who will fight you because who are you to be telling them about Jesus while they want to fit in with the world and talk about the things of the world, the fun of this world. Now here you are, you're coming with this Jesus. You're trying to make them feel less than enough or feel like what they are doing in their life is wrong. So that is why they're going to fight you. But listen to me, don't back off. Don't back off. You must always hold on to your beliefs and your principles and hold on to what God is saying to you, and always never be ashamed of spreading the gospel, because God will reward you at the appointed time. Yeah. Patuchezo says, sometimes you can win the battle. Patuchezo on Facebook, he says, sometimes you can win the battle and lose your peace. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for quoting that once again. And I think there was a comment I needed. Oh, okay. Yeah. Ausnombulele Srizan, welcome, sis. Good to see you. She says, yeah, it's hard when you gave to deal with that situation on a daily basis, when you have to. That's what she meant. Yeah. It's hard when you have to deal with that situation on a daily basis. When people made up their mind about you, it's at a point where I have to look at myself and blame myself. Yeah. At other times, I just decided that it is what it is and trust myself. Absolutely. At the end of the day, you must remember you cannot please everyone. You cannot please everyone. Sometimes you have to count your losses and just move on. Yeah. Good evening, Lillian. Good to see you. Good to see you, Lillian. And Lerato Mashazi says, Dad, what do we do in the instance of conflict with family members, siblings to be exact? You know what? At times, you must choose peace. You must check, number one, the level of the conflict. Has the conflict reached the level of where now everybody is being unruly and they're shouting, everybody's shouting. You are almost at that level of handling one another physically. If it gets there, the best thing will be for you to walk away. The best thing for you, it will be for you to walk away. Don't try and be right, because it gets messy with family members. It gets messy. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. It gets so messy with family members, and everybody wants to win. And it's more easier to fight and to hurt one another as family members, because you know a lot about each other. Sometimes battles out there, they never get to that place of seriousness, because you hardly know those people. You met them along your path. But if it's somebody from your family, it can get messy. It can get messy. So that is why you have to have wisdom on how to deal with it. But I believe there are strategies I'm going to share with you that will help you, Ayanda, as we continue. Refile says, this colleague of mine did not submit a backup, and she was shouting, telling me I lost a backup. While I was there, her manager found the backup, and I asked her publicly to apologize, but she didn't. Absolutely. Obviously, pride got into the way. Sometimes people allow pride to go into the way, and they don't want to lower themselves to the place of pride. I mean, to the place of humility and humble themselves and say sorry. They don't want to get to that place. Instead, her manager is the one that apologized on her behalf, you see. So that person did not really want to lower themselves. Balungile says, yes, people always argue when you tell them about God. And Patricia says, there is a proverb that says, when you fight a pig in the mud, you get concerned about your cleanliness as well, while the pig is enjoying the battle. Choose your battles wisely. That's a powerful proverb, Patricezo. That's a powerful proverb. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I agree with you, Refilo. Refilo is commenting on YouTube. She's watching on YouTube. And what strategies can one follow in managing certain conflicts? What strategies can we follow? Number one, avoid parties that are in conflict with you for a while. Avoid them. You must avoid them. You must avoid them. That could be the strategy of managing certain conflicts. By so doing, you make room for a cool-off period. There are moments where you get to fight with somebody and the argument just gets heated up. It gets heated up in such a way that the best thing for you to do would be for you to, just shift away from that argument in order to maintain your peace and your sanity. So avoid parties that are in conflict with you for a while to make room for a cool off period. People behave better once they've cooled off, because there's nothing that you can really solve when everybody is high, and everybody has reached their peak in the argument. When emotions are high, our reasoning capacity reaches its lowest. I've realized that. We fail to reason when emotions are high. And that is why when emotions are high, find the place where you can calm yourself. You must get to a place where you can calm yourself and avoid commenting, avoid responding, because your emotions are high. That's where we get to make many mistakes, and we say things that we will regret at a later stage. That is why you've got to be very careful. You've got to be very careful. Yeah. Dudu Zilektaba says, choosing peace is the best decision during an argument, especially with family members. Absolutely. Absolutely. You might need more time to consider your stance on the conflict itself. Don't try to resolve everything in a moment, or in one day, or in one night. Sometimes all you've got to do, the best thing you can do at the time, is just walk away or avoid that person, even if you might be in the same place, but avoid sitting where that person is sitting. Just try and find another spot where you can be away from that person. Because when the enemy wants to do something, when he wants to achieve something, he'll make that person, each time that person looks at you, they just go angry. They just go mad, So you've got to move away from those particular people to maintain your sanity and to maintain your peace. Yeah, absolutely. Number 2 of the strategies one can use to follow or one can follow in managing certain conflicts is to stay calm. Stay calm. When somebody goes high, they shoot to the roof. Just stay calm. That's how you are able to diffuse higher emotions, or somebody who's coming at you. Diffuse them by staying calm. You've got to stay calm at times. Stay calm. Ensure that you are able to take a rational and impartial approach to the situation. You must be very rational and take an impartial approach to the situation. Never act recklessly and never move because somebody has already moved. Don't react because somebody has acted. Sometimes you just have to stay calm. Avoid aggressive behavior. Avoid aggressive behavior. We get to a point where people are just pointing fingers at one another now and saying, you know what, I will hit you. I will hit you. You must know. Now we are moving from calmness into the aggressive behavior. Avoid aggressive behavior as much as you can. In times of conflict, you might find yourself manhandling somebody. You may find yourself manhandling someone only to regret it later. There are things that we do because we are angry, and then we regret those things later. Imagine manhandling somebody, and all of a sudden, this person has got nothing to lose, and you've got everything to lose. Imagine you manhandle this person. The moment you let them go, they go straight to the police station. The next thing you know, the next thing you see is police knocking at your doorstep, and they're there to pick you up. They say, you have harassed somebody, and you have beat up somebody, or you have threatened somebody, simply because you could not control your emotions, and you never allowed yourself to stay calm. Avoid aggressive behavior. Avoid it at all costs. And you might find yourself manhandling somebody, and that is why I say avoid it with all costs, because you might regret it. You might regret it. There are certain people in life who cannot afford to be involved to be in a public spat. There are certain people who cannot avoid to be in a public spat. You know what? I have worked very hard in my life. I've worked very hard, and I continue to work very hard. I have worked very hard to get to where I am in life. I cannot afford to be in a public spat. I cannot afford that. I cannot afford that. That can cost me everything I've worked hard for. It can cost me everything I've worked hard for. And because I might not be able to control my emotions, I would lose everything I've worked hard for. And my family will suffer because I did not manage conflict very well. You've got to manage conflict. You've got to manage conflict. You have more to lose. You must realize at times you have more to lose than a person in conflict with you. You have more to lose than a person in conflict with you. You may find that the person that is fighting you has got nothing to lose. Welcome, Matibello. Good to see you. I did not know, Matibello, that you also watch my streams. Welcome. Good to see you. She's watching on YouTube. Good to see you, Matibello. So there are certain people who got nothing to lose, and that is why you must not entertain them. You may find that you're fighting, you've got more to lose than they have to lose. They've got nothing to lose. They have never accumulated anything. They've never acquired anything great. Their level is not a level that they can worry about in terms of public spats. If you have worked hard, very hard in life, to ascend, to reach a certain level in life, a certain level of prestige protected by knowing which battles to fight and which battles not to fight. There are certain battles you are not supposed to fight at all. There are certain battles that you have to ignore at all. Just ignore those battles. Just ignore those battles. Otherwise, I'm telling you, you will regret it if you run to the platform of the enemy and God is saying nothing. You will regret it. You will regret it. Yeah. Yes, yes. But Jesus says, hence they say, never fight any man who has nothing to lose. Never, never. I mean, if you fight somebody, this person does not even work. This person has no goals in life. They just live in, they face one day as it comes, and then you've got so much going on in your life. You've built your career, you've built your purpose. And this person, as you entertain this person takes out the knife and they stab you. They stab you, and I'm telling you, even though you might not die, maybe luckily so, but you may find that your life will never be the same again, simply because you did not manage conflict. You entertained a loser in life. You entertain somebody who has not worked hard in their lives, and you'll find yourself losing everything you've worked so hard for because you want to entertain a loser. Sometimes the best thing is to stay calm. Just stay calm. Stay calm. Matibello says, what do you do when they always talk bad about you? How do I deal with that? Never entertain that. You know what, Matibello, not everybody would like you. Matibello is asking this question on Facebook, on YouTube. And Refilo is also on YouTube. Matibello, you know what? Not everybody would like you. You must make peace with that. You and I are not money. Don't expect everybody to love you. We are not money. There will always be people that will say bad stuff about you. Don't entertain them. Just move on. For the mere fact that you become somebody else's topic, you are very important. You are very important. Never entertain them. Continue moving forward. You've got your purpose to work on. Allow them to focus on you while you focus on your purpose. And unfortunately, there is no any other advice I can give you on that, because this thing that you've mentioned, Matibello, my daughter, you can never stop it. It will always happen. People will always say bad stuff about you. It does not matter what you do in life. I mean, I'm a pastor. I've got people saying stuff. I've got people saying he's a false prophet. I've got people saying bad stuff, ugly stuff. But don't entertain them. Don't entertain them. It does not stop what God is doing in your life. That's what you must make sure. You must remember, even though people said bad stuff about Jesus, it did not stop his goal. They said bad stuff about Paul the Apostle. It did not stop his goal. They are saying bad stuff about the president. They are saying bad stuff about all the great people. It does not stop them. Never allow the enemy to determine your direction. Never do that. Tsepang, my daughter, on YouTube says, peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of creative alternatives for responding to conflict. Absolutely, I like that. Pumzile says, how do you deal with someone who keeps going on, even when you keep calm? They follow you even when you try to walk away. I think that the strategies I'm sharing here, they will try and help you. They will help you, Pumzile. There are certain people that are very difficult. There are certain people who are difficult, and like I say, they've got nothing to lose, But just agree with them. Just agree with them, Pumzile. The best thing to defeat the enemy is to agree with what they say. If they're saying bad stuff to them, agree with them and say, yeah, you've got it. I take your word for it. Let them go. What aggravates the enemy is you opposing their opinion. That's what aggravates the enemy. If you disagree with the enemy, you are opposing them and you aggravate them. So that is why at times, for the sake of peace, just agree with them and let them be. But avoid them as much as you can. Sooner or later, they will get the message. Sooner or later, they will get the message. We all get people that are difficult, people that are otherwise. Taban says, we need to be emotionally intelligent when dealing with conflicts. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, that's why sometimes the best thing to do is to walk away. It is the best thing to do. Walking away can be the best thing to do. Listen to this. There is a saying that says, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't. Sometimes we spend our energy trying to reason small stuff. Don't sweat small stuff. Don't. There are certain things you need not to even entertain them. You need not even to entertain them. People always talk. No matter what you do, no matter what you do, you become a pastor, people will say bad stuff about you. You become a business person, people will say stuff about you. You become a loser, people will say bad stuff about you. Anything you do in this life, people will find something to say. Don't sweat the small stuff. Number 3, be mindful of your language when you find yourself in a conflict. Be mindful. Be mindful of your language when you find yourself in a conflict. Remember, spoken words cannot be reversed. Can I say that again? The reason why I say you must be mindful of your language when you find yourself in conflict is because words cannot be reversed. Now, if you entertain somebody who's got nothing to lose and they're fighting you, and then you start getting angry as well, and you begin saying things that you will regret later. I'm telling you, know this, that words cannot be reversed. You can say something bad to somebody that even when you resolve the issue, you cannot take those words back. Understand that. That is why whenever you are in a conflict, always think before you speak. Always think before you respond. We all get angry, but we must get to a place where we think before we respond. We think before we say something, because words cannot be reversed. They cannot be reversed. Yeah. Lerato Mashazi says, word of the evening, allow people to focus on you while you focus on your purpose. And God bless you, son. Tabang Mlangeni says, I'm learning. He says, yo, true, especially as a public figure. And that conflict can put a dent on your name and work. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if Cyril Ramaphosa gets to have a fight with somebody today on the streets, I'm telling you, people will never talk about that person. They will talk about Cyril Ramaphosa. Did you see Cyril Ramaphosa do this? Did you hear what Cyril Ramaphosa said? Why? Because he's great. He's great. He's the number one statesman. There are certain battles that you don't have to fight, especially with people that have nothing to lose. A person that's got nothing to lose, they can kill you now. They can shoot you now and go to prison for it. They've got nothing to lose anyway. Their life was not going anywhere anyway. Number 4, walk away if you are angry. That's a very important one. If you feel angry and you feel that somebody has offended you, and you feel that this thing has become a conflict, and you know that if you continue in this argument, you're going to end up punching somebody, you're going to end up saying words you will not be able to take back, walk away. Walk away. The best thing would be to walk away. If you are angry, just walk away. Walk away. Number 5, don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. These are strategies that one can follow in managing certain conflicts. Don't make assumptions. This is what I've picked up. Many times when we don't see eye to eye with certain people, we end up making assumptions. Now you assume he's doing this to me or she's doing this to me because of 1, 2, 3. He's doing this because I said 1, 2, 3. Or I saw how he or she looked at me. That's what they meant. You're starting to ask yourself questions and you're answering yourself. What are you doing? You're making assumptions. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Never assume that somebody said this about you when they did not say it and you did not hear them say it. Never allow your mind to take you where the devil wants to take you, because the enemy will say this person is behaving this way because of 1, 2, 3, and you've never heard them say that. So the reason why certain conflicts escalate, they escalate because the devil is ministering to each and every one of you. They are ministering to your opponent, and he's ministering to you as well. So you find that this battle becomes hotter and hotter. It gets heated because we are entertaining what our minds are telling us. Because the enemy is ministering to you and is ministering to your enemy. Never allow your mind to take you there. It is very easy to make assumptions about what your opponent meant. They might have said this, but you, the enemy, might say to you, by saying this, they meant this. Don't go there. Don't go there. What your opponent meant when they said X or Y, or what is behind a particular piece of behavior, it is very easy to make assumptions about what your opponent meant. Don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. Whatever you can work on is something that somebody said to you and you had them say it directly to you. That's what you can work on. But something that somebody says they said about you and you are retaliating, then there's a problem. Then there's a problem there. We must learn how to deal with people. Otherwise, we will lose our way because somebody has found a way to press certain buttons in our lives. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. Prumzile says, true dead. Some even leave the church because of assumptions. Absolutely. That's what happens everywhere. It happens everywhere, even in the workplace. People want to resign because somebody said something about you and all that. It happens everywhere. We are not going to stop what we are doing, Pumzile, because people think we said this well, whereas we did not say it. You know, we're going to continue doing what we do best. Whoever leaves, let them leave. Whoever stays, let them stay. And in your life as well, you cannot live in your life trying to stop people from leaving. When somebody's made up their minds, let them leave. It's time for them to leave. They will find better people out there. And I'm telling you, if you solve problems by leaving all the time, I'm telling you, you will always leave. You will leave every place. You will leave all the places. Right? Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm so excited you were able to tune in. Don't forget to get your hands on this book of mine, The Call of God. It will bless you. It is a blessed book, forward by Dr. Victor Matasela. Get your copy of this book. It will bless you. If you're interested, inbox me, or you can inbox Refiller on this chat. Just inbox her and get yourself a copy of this book at only $200. It will bless you. It will teach you that each and every human being breathing now is called to planet Earth. I thank you for tuning in. Please remember to share the feed. If you have not yet shared it, share the feed. Thank you to everybody watching me from YouTube, and thank you to everybody watching me from Facebook. God bless you. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Same place, same time. God bless you.